Good evening, everyone. This is Dedrick Martin, Superintendent for Caledonia Community Schools. I'd like to welcome everyone to our town hall meeting. Before we begin, have a few just meeting norms that we'd like to review. To eliminate any background distractions while our panelist is presenting, we ask that you please have your computer or your phone on mute. For those who are watching via Zoom, if you would like to submit a question or a comment, please use the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. Again, and that's for those who are participating via Zoom. There will be two opportunities during the presentation tonight where the panelists will be answering questions that are submitted. After the event, an FAQ document will be developed and posted on our website as we have done in the past. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome everyone to our town hall meeting tonight. You are very fortunate tonight because you don't have to hear from me as much, and I will be turning over the majority of the meeting to our Executive Director for Student Achievement, Ms. Kristen Flynn, who will speak about our extended learning opportunities. So Kristen, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Well, we're excited to share some information about spring and summer for students who have some academic gaps. We know that our education system was not built for extended shutdowns like we've had, and while we know that parents, teachers, administrators, and the whole school community have worked really hard to keep learning alive, there is a need to provide additional learning opportunities to fill academic gaps that may have happened due to, again, the very individualized experiences that each of our students had in the district. So with that, we're going to share a little bit about what this looks like. Our plan is to provide resources in general to support families, especially in math and English language arts, and to help prepare them for the upcoming school year. And this also means, social emotional supports, because we know that for many students and families, there's been a lot of isolation. They may not have been around other students. They may have been home the whole year, virtual or back and forth. And so we want to make sure that we're providing those opportunities for students. The what is really what we're planning to do, and that is as soon as April, we will be providing some on-site spring and summer sessions, primarily for secondary in April, and that main goal is to provide credit recovery opportunities for students that may have lost credit. So for instance, a student at the high school who may have lost a semester credit or short for graduation, that would be an opportunity for them to earn credit. We would also be providing, obviously, special education supports as applicable, and we want to make sure that families that are not selected, if you will, or not deemed based on our data that we're looking at as needing some extra in-person support, that we provide enrichment resources and that we provide just additional resources in general, both at the building and district level. And that information will be coming out this month. And that's for all families, things that you can do with students, resources that are available just to extend the learning opportunities for students. So we want to make sure that while we're using Caledonia teachers to provide instruction in the spring and summer, that we're also thinking about removing barriers like transportation that might prevent students from attending. So we will have transportation to and from the sessions, and we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like. So to start, we have a lot of bond projects going on starting and throughout the summer. And so because of that, our main focus area for extended learning for K-12 will be at the Caledonia High School South Campus building. That's where the bus routes will come through and where families can drop students off. So we've already discussed, what that looks like in terms of separating different ages and stages of students. And more information will be coming out as students are notified about participating in summer learning. So this is free. We are receiving one-time federal funds to cover the cost of this extended learning program. So that means, staffing and programming and busing and food. As we have in the past, we will be offering summer food opportunities. And for this particular opportunity for extended learning in the summer, breakfast and lunch will be available to take home. So I think that's it on that page. So the first session is going to be primarily focused, as I mentioned earlier, about for high school and middle school students. So for high schoolers needing to recover credit for graduation, and for middle school students who are needing specific standards recovery in math and English language arts. This would start the week of April 19th, and it would go for 4 weeks until May 13th. So Monday through Thursday. That is split up with an after-school time until 3:45, and that would be Mondays and Wednesdays at Craft Meadows and the high school, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays at Duncan Lake and the high school. So again, this would not be an elementary focus. This April 19th through May 13th, Monday through Thursday, would be happening for our secondary, so our 6th through 12th grade students. Our second session will be starting in June. And this is where we will have students at the high school, middle school, and elementary level. So after school is out, it would be a 4-week stretch with the 4th of July week off, so June 14th through July 15th. This looks a little bit different in terms of time. It's 8 to noon, Monday through Thursday. And again, we'd focus on high school with credit recovery. We would focus on middle school, recovering English language arts and math. And the same thing with elementary, focusing on the students who have the largest gaps. So we would want those students, or we're hoping that those students would be participating not just in session 2, but also kind of the booster that we have in session 3, which will be in August, a couple weeks before school starts. So I'll talk about that in a second. The third session would be specifically for elementary students, those ones that we mentioned back here in session 2 that, are really struggling with learning gaps. Another boost here, but also another group of students that we would have that are maybe on the cusp of, needing a little boost right before the school year starts. And that would be the week of July 26th through August 12th. Again, same opportunities as before with the time frame from 8 to 12, Monday through Thursday, and food opportunities for breakfast and lunch, and then also transportation provided if families are needing that. So with that, I'm going to pause, and that was a lot of information, and just take any questions that the question monitor will be asking.
Great, thanks. This is Steve Faber with Fireman Fisk, and I'll help usher some of these questions along. Just a reminder to the group, if you're tuning in through Zoom, you can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to ask a question at any time during the presentation. So we do have a couple questions. First, what type of instruction will be delivered? Will this be an online program or teacher facilitated in person?
Yeah, so the K-12 instruction is going to be a combination of both of those modalities depending on the needs of the students. Obviously, there will be more online options at the high school level than at the lower levels, and that's primarily, we've had that opportunity for credit recovery for students prior to all of COVID. So that will be opportunities for students to do that online and or get one-on-one help with teachers in specific subject areas at the physical building at the South Campus building. More information will be provided to families as they get notified via letter of what that's going to look like at the K-8 level, but that would be more in-person experience and teaching with opportunities for online as well.
Great, thank you. Another question just came in. Have the assessments been completed? If not, when will they be done?
Yeah. So we already have identified students, and I'll talk about that in the next phase of this presentation about when those students will be notified. So we used our fall data, our NWEA data that we use to identify where the learning gaps are for students, and other local assessments to identify both the numbers, grade levels, all of that. So that is complete, and those letters will be going out for this first round for the April session. I believe by the end of the week. I'll have to, the slides coming up, I think it's I'll have to look. I think it's this week.
Great. And then is this just for credit recovery, or can my high schooler participate for accelerated instruction?
Yeah, so we're going to be providing resources and opportunities for accelerated opportunities for students, but this particular program is primarily for credit recovery, so that students that have are in need of credits are back on track to graduate on time.
Okay, great. Those were our questions for this section. Again, if anyone wants to ask a question, you can do it through the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom screen. At any time, there will be another Q&A session here in a few minutes. Take it away.
Thank you. Awesome. So as we mentioned, we have been looking, the administrative team along with staff in the buildings have been looking at data by building to determine which students, to identify students for this. And the letters will be sent out this week for session 1. So again, that's that April-May timeframe. And then by April 16th, there will be letters sent out for sessions 2 and 3. So just after spring break week. We obviously want to make our students with the highest priority, so the students with the largest gap areas, having a registration priority, but we've identified the students and we'll be interviewing we've just hired some summer learning coordinators that will, our own teachers that will be working with the administrative team to help lead and facilitate this work. And we will be hiring teachers based on the numbers and students that decide to participate, because obviously this is optional, highly encouraged if a student is getting a letter, but certainly optional. But we want to know what those numbers are before we determine, the staff numbers that we need. There is more information that has been put on our website, calschools.org/parents/extended-learning. So as more information becomes available, that's where you can find that on our website. And we talked about the students being identified and registration. So what that will look like is students will receive a letter with instructions on how to sign up. And then there'll be a registration form that will just essentially say that you are agreeing to participate in the session that you're being asked to participate in. It'll ask for details about, student contact information, whether or not transportation is needed, et cetera, so that again, that we can properly plan for the right amount of staffing and support based on what students' needs are. So we talked about in April that there'll be additional resources on the website and also sent out to all families. Again, resources that if your student is, at academic levels where they need to be and ready to go for next fall, they probably most likely will not be getting a letter to participate in extended learning this summer. However, we want to make sure that if families want to do additional, extension activities with their students or additional boosts, that there are resources available. So that we will be sending communication out to families in April on how to get access to them. And again, that's that website there, parents/extended learning on the Cal Schools website. And at this time, I think we have a Q&A number 2.
Great. Again, anyone can ask a question through the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom screen. We do have a couple additional questions here. Do kids have to attend every day? And what if I have a scheduled summer vacation?
Sure. So students participating in extended learning opportunities are going to be expected to participate during the scheduled time that they, that they're encouraged to attend. The teaching staff will certainly work around scheduled vacations. I mean, we know that many people, now that things are opening up, that, people are probably looking to get away and do some things with their families. So we certainly will work around that with scheduled vacations. But for the most part, we're, expecting that if students and families say that they're going to participate, that they will be participating.
Great. Let me find my question here. And then will students and families still need to fill out the health questionnaire every day?
Yes, this will be part of the daily routine for students, filling out the health questionnaire unless otherwise directed by the health department.
And then there is a question about safety. During the summer months here, will the doors be locked for safety? Will teachers know where to lead students in an emergency situation? This is assuming some students may be in a building that is unfamiliar to them.
Yes, certainly. As always, our buildings are locked for safety. Teachers will understand, the emergency procedures and will lead students as needed as part of the training, whether they've been in that building or not. That will be part of, quote, onboarding our teachers at the South Campus building on all those safety procedures, and then certainly communicating those to students.
Okay. And then another question. My daughter is tier 3 in the 2nd grade. She needs the extra assistance. Will these groups of kids be included in the extra sessions?
So based on, and I don't know particularly that particular student, but you will be getting notified based on where students' learning gaps are. So I would assume that, yes, that would be one or more of the sessions 2 and or 3. And again, without knowing the individual student, I can't say for sure, but I would say that's very likely, yes.
Okay, great. And then what about students with IEP? Will extended learning teachers have access to IEP to help with special education goals?
Yeah, teachers will have access to IEPs, and we will actually have a special education coordinator as part of the summer extended learning team to be able to assist with those.
Great. Those are the list of questions that we have.
Awesome. Well, I want to remind everyone that we've had virtual town halls every month since December on various topics, primarily bond related, but this month and next month will be specific to both extended learning, which obviously is tonight, and then next month we'll talk about the fall online learning opportunities. So we know that that's going to look much different than the thrusted haphazard way that COVID kind of rolled out last March, almost a year ago. Well, it was a little over a year ago now. And we know that online learning has worked for some families. And so we have taken feedback from families and teachers on what worked, what didn't work, and just readjusting the whole system to support online learning. And what does that look like K-12 moving forward? And how is that going to be, rolled out, and how do people sign up? All of that will be happening in April with May enrollment sign up. So if you're interested in online learning, again, we don't know what fall is going to look like. We're anticipating we'll be coming back face to face, but we know that there's some families that still may not feel comfortable with that, or maybe that this was just the right fit for their student. We will be talking about that at the April town hall meetings. And with that, if there's no further questions, I will turn it back to Dr. Martin.
Thank you very much, Ms. Flynn, for doing a great job. That officially concludes our meeting tonight. First and foremost, we want to thank all the people who called to listen in or who got on to view tonight's presentation. Hopefully you found this information helpful for you. We thank you for all your support and being flexible and supportive of our teachers, as we have all had to take on new challenges during the COVID times. With that being said, we are done for tonight and look forward to seeing and talking to you guys at the next town hall meeting. Have a good evening.